Okay.
How can you bring up Andrew Tate as someone worthy of admiration, as someone worthy of listening to for advice on relationships?
Wow, the Young Turks gossiping again. Just mentioning Andrew Tate, and they are gossiping about a video that appeared on Daily Wire with Andrew Clavin, which, to be fair, does sound a bit weird. He's talking about, he's basically talking about why you shouldn't hit your wife. But the way he words it is very odd. But I found it even stranger that the Young Turks is talking about this. I mean, have they always been a gossip channel? Is this what the Young Turks is now? It's very interesting, very weird. But, you know, it's the third week of Donald Trump's term, and there's a lot going on. So why not, you know, look at a little YouTube drama here between, you know, the avowed enemies, the Young Turks with Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur on one side, and the Daily Wire, the evil right-wingers on the other side. Let's see what's got the Young Turks all riled up.
If you're a person like me who loves women and wants to have a wonderful life with a wonderful woman and respect her and never raise a hard hand against her, never raise my voice to my wife because I'm so enamored of her, you have to find that woman. You have to find a woman who doesn't need to be smacked around in order to behave in a civilized way. And that's the way you do it. You avoid the women who don't respect you. If a woman respects her husband, obviously her husband should treat her like the queen of the world. But if a woman hits her husband, he should never hit her back, but he will.
So if a woman doesn't respect her husband, is that a green light to beat her? Because that's how it kind of came across. Like, yeah. I don't think that's what he meant. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But like,
I'm not, no.
Okay, yeah, like, no, first of all, let me just clear this up. I don't buy into the argument that a woman can hit a man and that a man, like, men can never hit a woman, but a woman can hit a man. I don't agree with that. I don't think anyone should hit anybody. I don't think physical violence is ever okay.
Ooh, now that's interesting. Physical violence is never okay. That's what they teach us all, isn't it, at school? And you know, a lot of parents repeat that. But frankly, this may be a hot take. I don't know. Some of you might get mad at me in the comments, but I think there are actually times where physical violence really is the answer. Yeah, I think sometimes it really is the answer, and it's often, not often, there are cases where it is the most efficient and effective answer to a problem. Now, it is funny that Ana Kasparian says that because she famously started becoming more right-wing, or started leaving the leftist bubble, supposedly, according to her, after she was assaulted near her home. And I think if somebody assaults you, then physical violence in response to that assault is perfectly warranted. Frankly, I'm surprised she doesn't agree.
In any circumstance, and I don't think there's ever a justification for it, period.
There's never a justification for it, period. Hard disagree there.
Period. The way he makes that argument, though, makes it appear as though he's trying to provide cover for instances in which a man beats his wife. That's how it's coming across.
So he put in plenty of caveats, so I understand what Anna's saying. And we made sure to put one of them in there for you about, hey, I love my wife and I don't beat her, and etc. Right? And he said you shouldn't, and if a man does it, they should be arrested. So fair is fair, right? Now, having said all that, yeah, no, the framing of that was atrocious.
Terrible.
So he's like, well, I mean, if she respects you, obviously you don't have to beat her. On the other hand, if she doesn't, I mean, you picked the wrong woman, and I guess you're gonna have to do what you, I mean, it was just horrific. Horrific.
Yeah.
And so, is there an audience for that on the right wing? I mean, I say kind of half sarcastically, but like, but if you're in the right wing and you like that kind of talk,
not good.
Okay, I
Very
mean, you
bad.
can't really ask half the country, in this case, literally, because it's women. Hey, you know what? Like, if you don't respect us, obviously we're gonna beat the crap out of you. You okay with that? No, no one's okay with that.
Now look, if you're engaging in a tender embrace and then it kind of evolves into some aggressive wrestling, but it's intimate. That's okay.
Wow. Wow, Ana Kasparian, letting her freak flag fly here. What's going on, Anna? If it devolves into some tender wrestling, oh, that's kind of funny. Have to give her that. Ana Kasparian coming up with the goods.
Okay.
That's a different thing.
That's
Casper.
okay.
That's a different thing.
But anyway, let's watch a bit more from Friday's episode of the Andrew Klavan Show.
A lot of the women who wind up in the hospital because they were beaten by their boyfriends or husbands threw the first punch. I don't have the exact figures, but it's a substantial number of women who got in a fight with their husbands or their boyfriends, and they threw a punch, the husband punched them back, and the woman is in the hospital. If you watch movies in which girls beat up men and win sword fights and things like that, you think, well, why would that be? But that's what happens. A woman punches a man, her hand breaks, and if he gets angry and he doesn't restrain himself, he's going to punch her back. That's the law of the jungle. Now, if you're a person like me who loves women and wants to have a wonderful life with a wonderful woman and respect her and never raise a hard hand against, I never raise my voice to my wife because I'm so enamored of her, you have to find that woman. You have to find a woman who doesn't need to be smacked around in order to behave in a civilized way. And that's the way you do it. You avoid the women who don't respect you.
That does sound pretty bad the way he's putting it. Find a, you know, you gotta find a woman who doesn't need to be smacked around. Now, I too will give him the benefit of the doubt. I have known in my life, I've been on this earth nearly 60 years, and I will say I have been in a very close relationship with a woman who got violent. Now, I was never afraid for my physical safety, but she absolutely hit me a few times and bit me a couple times, or once or twice, yeah. And because she would fly off the handle, and it was obvious to me, although you can see red. I mean, if somebody's, if she tried to hit me hard, and yeah, but I knew, obviously, if I hit her back with even a fraction of my strength, it could easily put her in the hospital. But yeah, women can use, that does happen, whether it's just, I have no idea what the percentages are of women who hit first. And I agree, yes, men shouldn't go around hitting women, obviously. And if you're with a woman who seems to like, or who goes to physical violence, then you probably just shouldn't be with her. And that's what happened with me. We split up. Because it was just, yeah, I mean, who wants a relationship like that? But some people do, actually. So that's a whole nother subject. But the way Andrew Klavan is putting it here is, I can see why the Young Turks is commenting on the video. It does sound pretty funny, or pretty, yeah, it could be phrased better.
Okay, no one needs to be smacked around. I think no one needs to be smacked around, okay? If your partner is attempting to hurt you, is being disrespectful, if you're in a toxic relationship or marriage, you have to walk away. All right, if someone is posing a threat to you physically, yeah, you do need to defend yourself. But the idea that someone needs to be beaten is ridiculous. It's like that wording is awful, atrocious. I can't believe that he said that, but.
I mean, look at them. So the thing I object to the most is the mindset, right? So he says, in a lot of cases, very substantial, the woman throws the first punch. You made that up. Do women throw the first punch from time to time? Of course, it's humanity, right? Do I know if the number is 2% or 20%? No, I have no idea, neither does he. But his mindset is like, well, sometimes they got it coming, right?
It's the law of the jungle, Cenk. The law of the jungle.
Exactly.
Have you ever watched the movies with the women with the sword fights? And I don't know why I brought that up, but it's the law of the jungle.
No,
I think he brought that up to say that movies, and this is absolutely true, anybody who's got half a brain will notice this, there's plenty of TV shows and movies with super girl boss, strong, independent women who are, beat up, not only just beat up men, but beat up, they beat up soldiers, they beat up the trained assassins who are coming after them. They beat up 3 guys. They take punches, get slammed into walls and doors and all that, and shake it off and get up and beat, beat up the guy who's attacking him. That's complete nonsense, all that. It's not that it's obviously there are cases where a woman could defend herself in certain cases. Yes, I'm sure there are some cases where that could happen, but it is so unrealistic. I mean, just basic logic will show you that. Why, for example, in fighting sports, are there weight classes, for example? So even amongst men who fight for a living, there are weight classes, for example, in boxing. Because size matters. It absolutely matters. Skill's important too, an unskilled small person against a highly skilled small person against a completely unskilled bigger person probably has a better chance, but size absolutely matters. And so yes, I think that's what Andrew Clavin was mentioning, or was getting at there. This complete lack of reality, maybe, that a lot of people have when it comes to how well women can physically defend themselves against men.
What he's saying is, you're seeing in culture that women are as physically capable as men, but they aren't. And so if they try to smack us around, they're gonna have another thing coming to them. But that's not an epidemic in the country. It happens, but it's not an epidemic, okay? So, but even more important than that, when he said, find the woman who doesn't need to be smacked around, that thought would never occur to me in that way of saying it, right, in that sentence. Because I don't think any woman needs to be smacked around, and it wouldn't even pop into my mind, right? But in his mind, that is a category of women. Women who need to be smacked around.
Yeah.
That's why you should avoid those and find one that respects you. And by respect, if he was a normal person and not saying these things, I might say, oh yeah, okay, of course you should have mutual respect. But it seems to me, based on the rest of the context, by respect he means you do what I tell you. And if you don't do what I tell you, then you're in the category of women who need to be smacked around.
Clavin also isn't really doing himself many favors when he applauds self-proclaimed misogynist Andrew Tate, who's been charged with rape, human trafficking, and sexually exploiting women for saying this type of stuff out loud. So take a look.
If a woman respects her husband, obviously her husband should treat her like the queen of the world. But if a woman hits her husband, he should never hit her back, but he will. She will learn what it's like to live with somebody who's bigger, meaner, tougher, stronger than she is. That's the law of the jungle. It's not right. It's not good. The guy should be arrested, but it will happen. That is the way things work. And that's why Andrew Tate has some kind of panache with young people, because he says this out loud and nobody ever says it out loud. That doesn't create a responsibility in you to beat your wife. It creates a responsibility in you to find a woman who will respect you so you can treat her as she deserves to be treated.
I said, not doing yourself any favors, okay.
Okay,
how can you bring up Andrew Tate as someone worthy of admiration, as someone worthy of listening to for advice on relationships?
Yeah, well, that's not exactly what he said. He just said that Andrew Tate says things the way they are. And yes, if a woman starts trying to physically beat her husband or assault her husband, in most cases, she'll learn very quickly that that's a losing proposition. Andrew Tate, of course, is incredibly bombastic, incredibly outspoken. He is a troll. He's a master troll. He is hilarious, too. And he's been doing this for several years now, trolling like that. And yeah, he says all sorts of things. Women can't drive. Women can't fly helicopters. Women can't do this, can't do that. So I don't really know what Andrew Clavin's getting at either, or why he's even talking about this subject. I'm very surprised because the Daily Wire is very total conservative ink. They're very, this is, as far as I know, this is not the kind of stuff that they delve into. Better to leave these kinds of subjects to guys like Andrew Tate, I would say. Anyway, I just think it's funny to see this kind of drama between the Young Turks and the Daily Wire. It seems ridiculous, but don't worry, I will be back soon with another video on something a little more serious, hopefully. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave me some comments if you have something to say, and I'll see you in the next video.